Hey everyone, New 12 here. Welcome back to actually getting to this chapter. After countless hours spent going through 50 different parts to finally get to the main meat of the story, we are here, and hopefully it's well worth it. I really want a fucking happy ending. Oh god. But it's kind of, at the same time, I'm kind of sad because I don't want to see a series come to an end either. At least the main part of this. So, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, this is the banquet section. Can you hear me? One more speech and then we'll move on to a toast. Are you ready? Hey, I remember this part from last chapter. This is the back end. We're ready. We can't hear anything from inside, so please give us a cue when the speech is finishing up. 10 bottles per table, okay? Make sure you serve your bottles smoothly. Your table smoothly. Young waiters with bow ties get bottles of beer ready for a toast. They don't like them warm. There are several dozen tables with white tablecloths on them in the banquet room. Approximately 8 people are sitting at each table, so there are at least a few hundred people there. The banquet room is filled with excitement. There are many plates with different kinds of food on each table. A sushi platter, a sashimi platter, a fruits platter. Also along the wall there are cooks ready to serve fresh sashimi. All the guests appear to be well-mannered. Gentlemen, and obviously they are notable people from different fields. The huge and beautiful chandelier above them clearly tells them that this hotel holds a status good enough for those famous people. An elderly gentleman is giving a long speech on the stage before making a toast. Usually people don't like such long speeches, especially if it's before a toast, but the guests are actually excited with this speech. Maybe the word excited isn't suitable. Maybe it should be described as an upsurge in a strange way. Anyway, Japan accepted the demand for an unconstitutional surrender. The day they did, the Pacific War ended. In other words, even if they had taken care of business, the war ended that day according to international law, and from that day on there was peace. Therefore, if any troops invaded Japanese land during that peace, that would be an encroachment against Japan. No matter what the Soviet Union says. The northern territories are Japanese land, and it's obvious that the Soviet Union invaded illegally. That's right. And now they want to settle by returning 2 islands to us. Who do they think they're kidding? Listen, Hohobami, Shikotan, Kunashiri, and Edorufu are all Japanese islands. If we put them together, it will be bigger than one prefecture. What would you think if a Soviet troop invaded one of our prefectures? Would you settle for just getting a half of the prefecture back? No, you wouldn't, right? We should get the whole prefecture back. However, the Soviet Union claims they have a vested right to the islands. They've got to be kidding. We must resist them with all the possible means. We want all the northern territories back. We must unite and obtain the unshakable willpower as a country. Applause filled the banquet room. All the gentlemen agree and express that they feel the same way by cheering him on. In this excitement, there are 2 people standing by the wall who don't seem to fit in this environment. Hey, Akasaka. They are wearing sharp-looking suits and they are a little too old to be called young men. However, compared to all the elderly gentlemen in the banquet room, they are rather young. Why do politicians care so much about believing in nationalism? That's simple. Politicians want votes. They are elected by getting enough votes. However, not everyone over the age of 20 votes. The majority of votes come from people who are already retired and living rather leisurely. And those are the ones who are interested in politics, usually speaking. So the key to getting enough votes is whether to get attention of the older generation. The war happened only 40 years ago. In other words, the generation that's interested in voting is the pre-war generation. My mother talks about the air raids often. She used to live near Tsudiyobashi? Sure. And she lost all of her family in the air raid. She had to walk across the burnt fields all alone. That's right. Our parents went through the war. They had to believe in death for the country. Although Japan lost the war, things changed because of the war, and that's why we have peace today. Yeah, I hear that a lot. If Japan hadn't fought in the war, Asia would still be a colony of the white people. There's no way we could have won, but we needed to fight in that war, or something like that. In that case, no matter how much they preached pacifism, politicians can't ignore the pre-war generation. War is bad, we should never again fight a war. But that war was necessary. Unless they say that, it's like they are denying the lives of that generation. I mean, it's so hard to appeal to everyone when you're trying to get votes. But that's what they're trying to do, they have to appease to everyone. We don't want a war, but also we had to fight that war. I mean, that's just fucking politics right there. I see. Politicians have to work hard to earn votes, huh? Well, yeah, no vote is a given. You have to work your ass off to get at least one. Well, more than one since you can vote for yourself. However, it would be one thing if they were truly proclaiming their own beliefs, but some are simply saying that to get votes. Obviously. You can't honestly believe everything that they shout out because they fucking flip all the goddamn time. It's crazy. Unless we get rid of those contemptible politicians, our post-war days won't end. So the ghost of the war will be handed down to the next generation, and things won't ever change, until the old generation dies out. Then it'll change, because then the demographics change. They will keep repeating that the war in the early 20th century was justified yet regrettable, every time an election takes place. It's simple. All the young people need to vote. Don't get fooled by the war stories and elect the ones who are actually concerned about political issues. They have to be realistic political issues, though. Yeah, there are a few who talk about unrealistic measures. Akasaka, isn't that the F table? There she is. Let's go. The speech is ended and the elderly gentlemen are giving the man on the stage a standing ovation. The two guys walk through the crowd and get close to an old lady in a kimono. Yes, that would be me, but who are you? I made an appointment with you on the phone yesterday. I'm Akasaka. Sniffle, 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 sniffle. My husband worked so hard for this country. But, Madam, I understand what you're going through. This is nothing unusual. Nobody remembers if there was a donation or not. So a handful of politicians were questioned. As a result, some came up with the scheme to blame a sickly elderly man who already retired. He only had a short time to live anyway. It is perfect for them. The elderly man is already sick in bed, and the shock of his buddies betraying him has taken away his will to live. The only thing that his wife can do is simply watch him suffer. The lady keeps crying while telling the guys about her husband's achievements. If your husband is in fact innocent, a judge will rule accordingly. Don't worry. All false accusations will be cleared. Sue the shit out of him. That's what I would do. Sue the absolute fuck out of him. Once the charges get cleared, a civil lawsuit, please. You're all gonna fucking pay up. I already know that, because he is innocent. But he won't live to see the verdict. He worked so hard for this country, and this is what he gets in return at the end. How can he rest in peace? Akasaka nods and tries to find the right words to say to her. That's very nice. His colleague rummages through a pile of paperwork behind him. The papers are filled with fine print, and it's hard to tell what they are. However, the way he's looking at them clearly tells it's something extremely important. Akasaka, this is amazing. This records exactly how the money moved. Akasaka gives him a sign to tell him that this isn't the place to rummage through it. Shut up. Madam, there isn't any more paperwork, right? No, that was the only thing in his safe. Please use it and prove my husband's innocence. My husband took such good care of them, yet they betrayed him. Oh, madam, you do understand that some things in these documents work against him, don't you? Yes, I understand that. Ask for a plea deal. Plea deal, please. Drop all charges against him and fuck them over. One can't be honest all the time when one is a politician. I'm a wife of a politician. Thank you for your cooperation. I will use this to expose the injustice. Only one thing. May I ask you one thing, though? Could you wait until my husband passes away before making this public? The paperwork Akasaka received is something her husband should take to the grave with him. It is something that shouldn't exist in this world. If this goes public, her husband's name will be disgraced. Akasaka nods. I understand. I promise you. A huge amount of public funding comes from Kasumi Gaiseki. It goes to substructures as national expenses. But there are always some who want to suck up the funds by mixing a hidden agenda into it. They want profits, protection, and more than enough dividends for the benefit of their own organization. Some sponsors approach politicians and government officials just to get what they want. And the government officials get spoiled by it. That's the structure of the Japanese corruption. The illegal pipes go through Kasumi Gaiseki and continue to spill public funds. To find and destroy such pipes is of national interest, but eliminating illegal expenditures isn't as simple as that. Because there are people connected to those pipes, and when those people are investigated, a major political scandal takes place. The reason why the government doesn't investigate such illegal expenditures is not only to protect vested interests, but also because they are conscious about political damage. Well, yeah, they don't want people to lose faith in the system. Because nothing's worse for a government than the public lose complete faith in them. Like, that's how a government falls apart. To make a long story short, the government can't endure the pain of pushing out the pus from a wound. The closer the focus is to the core, the bigger the damage to the government will take. And that affects the attitude of the cabinet. The closer the focus is to the core, the greater the damage is. The matter Akasaka is investigating secretly is very close to the core, and there is a possibility that the political powers will die in shock. Akasaka was tipped that there is a huge amount of public funding leaking out through an alumni organization of the 7 imperial universities, so he and his colleagues have been conducting a secret investigation for a long time. He learned that the enemy had tight bonds, but one of the elders was chosen to take all the blame, and his wife was extremely unhappy about it. He was finally able to get in touch with her. And now he has his hands on this extremely important information. Good work, everyone. We have almost gathered enough proof, especially what Akasaka got is surprisingly shocking. You must have worked hard to get it. Good job. Thank you. The small meeting room is filled with boxes with documents in them. There's also a whiteboard filled with small writing. A few of the investigators in the smoke-filled meeting room are reading the documents intensely. The men's intimidating manner clearly tells that these are veteran policemen with lots of experience. Akasaka is one of these men. It has been a while since Akasaka Mamoru, who was transferred to this department. When he worked on the kidnapping case of Minister Inugai's grandson, he was a rookie, but now he's an experienced investigator. After a knock on the door, an elderly man comes in. Everyone straightens up all at once. Sir, thank you for stopping by. Please, you don't need to stand up. Relax. I brought a wonderful gift for you today. Kano, I'll let you go to your son's school open house. The meeting room is filled with sighs and expressions of surprise. The reason can't be that they don't want to go to a school's open house. I knew it. I thought it was about time. Shit. Akasaka's colleague complains. They are so close to getting to the core of the issue. They had strong evidence. Akasaka isn't disturbed. Things like this happened before, and it was actually expected due to dangerous content. The investigation will be switched to a different department all of a sudden. In other words, this investigation is over. Put it on ice. The new department is supposed to expose the injustice, but that has never happened before. Being transferred to a different department is just an excuse. The investigation was terminated because there has been pressure from above. Damn it. What about everything we've done so far? It was just to see how painful it would be to push out the pus. They realized it would be too painful and they decided not to treat the wound. In that sense, their hard work wasn't wasted. Thanks to their work, the investigation was terminated. Akasaka understands that, but his colleague isn't mature enough to understand. Of course, Akasaka's sense of righteousness is unsatisfied by this. He feels frustrated with his bosses, who hesitate to expose the injustice. But he's mature enough to know not to say that out loud. We'll arrange the organization of the documents and hand them over to the other end later. Anyway, since you haven't had a day off for a long time, you don't have to wait until 5 p.m. to leave. Please go home and get some rest. We'll talk about the remaining business tomorrow. Also, don't forget to use up your vacation time too. Make sure you take your vacation time and treat your spouses. Chief, please come with me. That will be all. Yes, sir. The long, secret investigation ends in a strange way. Akasaka is to wait until the next suspicious incident occurs, taking a vacation in the meantime. Well, I guess we'll do as he says. Everyone go home and get some rest. If you go home early unexpectedly like this, you may find out your wife is having an affair, you know. Fool, you don't seem to know anything. Akasaka and his wife are madly in love. He calls her every night from a public phone in a different building. I envy you, Akasaka. My wife is so mean. Akasaka smiles bitterly as he gathers the documents in his hands. Yeah, the very few times that his wife is actually alive. One of the pages falls onto the floor. It's a page from a huge pile of illegal expenditure documents. It is about the illegal expenditure of the Alphabet Project, the research project team for the next generation and the Defense Agency. Oh, what a fucking coincidence. Let me guess, it's also going to be the Irai Institution, right? Because fucking coincidences be damned. It is highly possible that this project was created for the purpose of tunneling illegal expenditures. When he sees the paper, one thing catches Akasaka's attention. He picks it up and looks at it, and tries to remember. This is the list of people who receive public funds. It is also a list of the retirees who are still very much in love with money. There should be no connection between those people and Akasaka. However, there's one thing that catches his attention. The Irai Clinic? Oh, what a fucking surprise. Oh! Yeah, no fucking coincidences. Huh. As soon as he sees it, all kinds of memories fill him. Oh, wait, that's right. A fucking girl told me that she's gonna die. That's right. It's the Irai Clinic. When he was working the case of the Inugai's grandson abduction, he was in a scuffle with the suspects and got injured. He was taken to the clinic. He believes the name of the clinic was the Irai Clinic. He starts to remember one thing after another. His very first experience of being in a shambles. He can still remember everything so vividly. His daughter was about to be born, and he really didn't want to go to Hinamizawa. I wouldn't have. He met Oishi, and he taught him a lot of important things. He also met a girl in that village. Her name was Furude Rika. That's right, he remembers. How long has it been? How old is she now? As he remembers her lovely smile, he also remembers the ominous prediction she made. She predicted if he didn't go back to Tokyo, something horrible would happen. At the time, he took it as nonsense, but he felt something odd about it, as if it was a divine omen. Then he remembered about Yuki, who was about to give birth. He became concerned that something terrible would happen to Yuki. But he couldn't just leave and go back to Tokyo. That's why he called her right away. He told her something would happen. He told her to be very careful until he returned to Tokyo. Yuki laughed and told him he was worrying too much, but that phone call indeed saved her from a calamity. He found out about that when he visited her after he returned to Tokyo. A few days after his phone call, a janitor was seriously injured when he stepped on a loose tile on the stairs on his way to the rooftop. He also heard afterwards that Yuki had a habit of going up to the roof for a walk every day. But because of his phone call, she had stopped doing it. If he hadn't called her, she would have been the one to step on the loose tile. In other words, Furuderica's prediction was correct. There's no proof, but he still believes that he was able to save Yuki only because of Furuderica's prediction. He thinks he should have called her and thanked her for saving Yuki. But the busy days that followed made him forget about it. Yeah, you know, having a child, it's a little busy. Rika. He wonders if she's still doing well, if she's still smiling. Whatever. Pass it off. With a smile, he remembers the sad prediction she made on the last night under the moon. That's right. She said something. She predicted someone would get killed on the night of the festival annually, and that on the 5th year she would be killed. That's right, she did say that. 5th year, that's this year. The festival is, that's right, it's in June. If he remembers correctly, it happens on the last Sunday of the month. He looks at the calendar. It's June of the 58th year of the Showa era. It's Monday. Fuck! The last Monday. Damn it! I missed it. Although there's still some time, the death she predicted for herself is coming up. The girl who predicted Yuki's accident also predicted that a mysterious incident would occur annually for the next 5 years. And if they have actually been happening, then it will happen again this year. He wonders if Oishi is still at the Okinomiya station. I wish he'd finally get fired. If the annual accident she predicted was actually taking place, he would know. In other words, he can confirm if Furuderica is going to be killed or not with a phone call to Oishi. The girl who predicted her own death mumbled that she didn't want to die. Mumble? No. It was clearly a plea for help. The girl who was trapped in the strange traditions of the village asked for help. Asked him, and someone from the outside for help. She paid his reward in advance, in the form of predicting Yuki's accident. He has to go save her. He has to get to her. He feels a flood of emotions fill him. It feels like he finally remembered something he is never supposed to forget. That's right. He has to go to Hinamizawa. He has to get to the girl and who asked him for help. Hello, Okinomiya Station. Hello, is Mr. Oishi Kurado still there in your investigation department? If he is, may I talk with him, please? Excuse me, may I ask who's calling? Could you tell him it's Akasaka from the police headquarters? He was a very energetic person, but he was already old back then. Maybe he already transferred to somewhere else, or maybe he already retired. But if he's still there, he'll be happy to hear from him. He sure has a very unique laugh. Oishi, there's a phone call for you. Someone from the police headquarters in Tokyo. Tokyo? Who could that be? Hello, this is Oishi. What? Oh my gosh. Hello, how have you been? Save. Still no tips, because we went through so fucking many. Hanyu is already used to being with us. Since Rika and Satoko are her age, she has become especially close to them. Of course, Rena and Mion look after her too. I remember when Rena told me before. She said Hanyu has been close to us for a long time, and that she has been watching us play, that she always wanted to join us. I still can't remember seeing her before, but somehow I can believe she has always wanted to join us. Hanyu accepts all the things that surprised me at first, as if she knew about them all along. She knows about everything, and it seems she is truly excited about finally being able to join. Hanyu is definitely one of us now. She sure is. Almost feels like she's been one of us for a long time. That can't be true, though. That's not so. She has been with us a long time. All the time. Huh? Are you saying that too? Rena said that too. Is it just that I didn't notice? You're dense, Keiichi, so that's why you didn't notice. Me? Huh? Fine. So what if I'm dense? Oh, Rika and Kate are sitting down. Are you tired? You never feel tired, Hanyu. We are exhausted. That's because I've wanted to play with you all for so long. This isn't nearly enough. I'm gonna have a lot more fun. How? You're full of energy. By the way, the thing on your head. Doesn't it fall when you play? Oh? Hanyu has a horn on her head. Thank you for finally noticing. Thank you. I thought it was an accessory she wore, I didn't want her to lose it while playing. I was going to offer to hold it for her while she played. But Hanyu's face clouds over, and she apologetically holds on to the horn. Keiichi. Hanyu can't take it off. Huh? Ah, I see. She has some surgically implanted inside of her head. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Oh, is it strange to have a horn? As a human, yes. Huh? No, not at all. I think it's cute. Yeah. Kei-chan has a horn between its legs, right? Fuck off. It's hard and bent backwards. Huh? Oh, one horn between its legs. What is it? Come on, Rena, stop that. Are you okay, Mion? Your face is warped. Everyone laughs except Hanyu, who still doesn't get it. Humans usually don't have fucking horns on their head. I shouldn't have said anything. I bet she doesn't like to talk about her horn. Sure. But if I try to apologize, I think things will get even more complicated. As I think about what to say, Rena takes the girls to the shrine gate. Don't worry about it, Keiichi. Hanyu tries not to think about it, but I think she's still too young. Me. So she doesn't like to talk about it, huh? Sorry, I'll be more careful. Hanyu came to Hinamizawa a very long time ago. She did? No wonder she knows so much about the village. I don't know where she lived before she came to Hinamizawa. She heard the name, but she really couldn't understand where it was. But Hanyu's clan couldn't live there anymore. They looked for a place where they could live for a long time. They traveled a lot, then they arrived here. There was a beautiful swamp, and that was exactly what Hanyu's clan was looking for. But there was a village, and people lived there. To show respect to their original inhabitants was law among wandering people like Hanyu's clan. Hanyu's clan decided to live peacefully with the villagers. But things didn't go well. The villagers were too immature to accept newcomers. They rejected them, and caused a horrible situation. Hanyu came to this place to govern it after she changed to look like them. But she just couldn't hide her horn. The forbidden ancient documents say that Hanyu descended to the Furude Shrine, appearing as she does today. It also states the following. Hanyu's clan can't live anywhere other than this village. They also can only live by coexisting with the villagers. The Furude Shrine's priest once refused to coexist because the wandering people's blood caused the villagers to be consumed by demons. He didn't think it was going to work. But the heir of the Furude Shrine fell in love with Hanyu, and then their child was born. The priest had to think again. The fuck? Hanyu had a child? Is their child a descendant? Is Rika technically their descendant? Oh, okay, that's just fucking weird as shit now. Now we're getting into the weird shit. To the wandering people who can't hide your horns, if you wish to stay in this place, I may think again about making your wish come true. However, the villagers who have the blood of demons can't tell if they are humans or demons. The villagers look at each other with doubt, full of suspicion. Unless you clear up all of that, coexisting is impossible. There must be some rules for us to be able to coexist. They are strict and they may be almost impossible to follow for those who have been living in peace. However, as long as those rules are followed, the village will be free from the demon's disaster. Very well, the rules will be followed, but the blood of the villagers has already been shed. You can't get rid of the anger, the sins, or the filth. In the human world, a sin is atoned by a human life. I don't believe in that. I see. If you say it's your way to let someone take all the responsibility and bury the sins with him, then we'll do that. However, won't people end up shifting responsibility to each other because nobody wants to die? Exactly. Exactly. See? That's the demon in the people of this world. No one accepts responsibility and they shift it on to each other. Well, it's not that no one accepts responsibility, it's that they don't want to accept that responsibility. No one wants to sacrifice himself, therefore everyone refuses to take responsibility and the sins get piled up. People continue to shift the responsibility to each other and nothing gets cleared. I see, if that's the law of the world, and if the law baffles you, then I'll grant you a world where people don't shift the responsibility to each other in exchange of coexistence. What kind of world is it? As long as people live, there will be sins, and people will become corrupted. How could all of that be erased without someone taking all the blame? Let me take all the sins and filth, and remove my existence. The sins will not stay in people. If I were to take all the sins, people wouldn't have to shift responsibility. What are you saying? Are you going to be a sacrifice? Someone has to take all the sins, otherwise they won't be cleansed. That's the law of your world, isn't it? The ancient document also states this. Of course this is forbidden too. Only the leader of the Frude family was allowed to touch it, nobody else. Not even the 3 families.